Every person has the ability to be in full control of their behavior all the time. You as well. No, you don't have the ability all the time to be in control of your inner disposition, your desires, your heart's urges that you can't always control. But how you choose to behave at any moment, you can control. Which is why you can always be a Benoni. That's the nature of the Benoni, but not the tzaddik. So this is a very important teaching, and one that we have to keep reminding ourselves, and sometimes we fall trapped to thinking that we can't. Meaning, sometimes the heart really desires something. It wants to eat something that's against my diet and unhealthy, and I'm so powerfully attracted to it. Or I just cannot get up when I'm supposed to do the right thing. Sometimes our feelings overwhelm us to do or not do something which we're not supposed to do. And we say to ourselves, I just can't control it, right? I just can't stop myself. That statement is incorrect. You may feel it's correct, but it's factually incorrect. You can't stop yourself from feeling a certain way, but you can always stop yourself from behaving a certain way, or always control yourself to choose to behave in a certain way. That is a nature, that is a truth that God has made within every single human being. So you can always exercise your thoughts, your words, your behaviors to be making correct choices, doing the right things, that which is real, that which is important, that which is good, and refraining from doing that which is unhealthy, that which isn't good. How? Sometimes it's so difficult. So one answer is that there's a concept called Hesach Hadas, which in English means to divert your attention. Stop giving it the attention. Stop feeding it with your thoughts. You have a feeling, you have a thought. And for you right now, that feeling is defining your reality. My feeling is controlling me. Well, there's a way to just stop thinking about it. It's just a feeling. It's just a thought. It's not necessarily a truth. It's not your truth. It doesn't have to control you. And so it's possible to just ignore it. Stop thinking about it. Stop feeling that way. And it helps to divert it towards something else. You can always distract and divert your thoughts towards something else. Not, in other words, this is a powerful idea, not to get all worked up by it. It's good, it's not good, I can't control, I can't control. No. Don't even entertain it that way. Don't give it that kind of power over you. Just ignore it and divert your attention. Now, that's with regards to any kinds of, heart's desire. I can't get up in the morning. I need to get up. I don't want to go to the gym, but I need to go to the gym. When it comes to things that are in the realm of, holy or unholy, meaning in accordance with the Torah, in accordance with being truthful and connected with God, or unholy and doing something against the will of God, against the will of the Torah, there's another factor to keep in mind, another tool that can help you control your heart and your feelings. And it goes like this. Our life is best lived in a healthy way from a spiritual perspective when we're connected to our source of life, connected to our creator. Just like, for example, if you were snorkeling in the ocean and you have your snorkel that always needs to remain on top of that water so you're connected to the oxygen that you can actually breathe. You never want to create a disconnect. You never want to go all under, because then you've lost your oxygen supply. So it's in your interest always to keep a healthy oxygen supply, of course. What about if you're not cutting off the entire oxygen supply? However, some obstructions have gotten in the way and they're slowing down, they're blocking some of the oxygen supply. That too is going to be harmful. If you're not able to breathe properly, then you're going to suffer as well. You're going to experience some kind of damage in that experience. So we want to not only never to sever our connection with our life source, but also to keep a healthy flow without any obstructions. When you perform a sin, when you do something that is wrong, that is against the Torah, that's against what God instructs you, that's basically doing something against the health of your soul. You're creating a disconnect between you and your creator, you and your source of life. There are certain sins that are terrible sins, ones of idolatry, ones of complete heresy, ones of complete denial in God, and that severs your connection entirely. And that creates a form of spiritual death. You've cut yourself off from your life source. And then there are sins that seem to be smaller sins, a little gossip, a little hatred, a little negligence of Shabbat, whatever it is. They may not sever your connection with God, your connection from your life source, but they do add blockages in that pathway, which makes the life source a little more diminished. Your connection is weaker, and that also harms you. So this is the kind of meditation you need to think about. When your heart is telling you, your thoughts are telling you to do this sin, you feel so powerfully attracted to it right now, almost like I cannot control myself. Tell yourself as follows: I know how powerfully I want it. I know it could make me feel really good. I know I'm not in the mood, I'm feeling lazy and I'm tired and I'm uninspired. Recognize, however, that a sin, doing something that is a misdeed against the Torah, that disturbs, that threatens, that harms my connection with my life force. And I need to have that snorkel always clearly, openly connected to the oxygen for my own good, for my own health. Recognizing the immense power of every single deed, every thought. It can either promote your spiritual health or it can harm your spiritual health, is a very powerful meditation, and it will help you. Now, the other thing Alter Rebbe says is you can reflect on the following. During times of war, persecution, historically, many times, and Jews have not been foreign to these things, it's happened way too often. Many times Jewish people were given a choice: convert or die, bow down or die, become one of us or die. Very tragic, but we've seen many people choose death over conversion to Christianity or whatever. And very often the people that chose death over conversion were not like necessarily the righteous, pious tzaddikim that were actively engaged in strong spiritual Jewish life all the time. Often there were people who were barely engaged in daily active Jewish life, but when pushed to the wall and given that choice, they chose death over conversion. Why? Why there did they side with God to the point of giving their life away, and yet on a regular Monday, when it came time to do a mitzvah and not do the sin, they weren't there? And the answer is because when it comes to the point of conversion, for example, a person understands this is now the ultimate test of who I really am. And if I were to convert and cross that line of never return, I've sacrificed my spiritual life. And if I'm sacrificed my spiritual health and my connection with my life source, what is left for me to live for? So when you understand that, you make the choice that my spiritual truth and connection is far more important than my physical life. But when it comes to a regular daily challenge of performing a small sin and not doing a small mitzvah, a person can convince themselves wrongfully with a clouded vision, a clouded thinking, saying, this is not so bad. That distinction is an incorrect distinction, as we have said, because even if it's small blockages in your snorkel, you're still going to suffer. So a person should reflect on, I don't want to make that foolish distinction. I don't want to fall trap. I want to be able to live the most optimal, healthy life. I want to realize that just like that person at that moment of being tested with their life, they had a sense of full clarity of what's real, what's true, and they chose, sadly, death, tragically, death over conversion. I want to recognize that at every moment of every challenge, of every temptation in life, my choice of controlling my behavior and doing the right thing only, or losing control and falling trapped to the temptation of my heart, isn't something small. It's something very big. It is deciding on the level of connection I'm maintaining with my life source, which is the level of my spiritual health. And so all it takes is a meditation, this kind of meditation that allows you to restore clarity, clarity to realize the significance of every decision of yours, of every behavior of yours, and the importance of keeping spiritually healthy all the time. And by doing that, you can ensure complete and full control over your decisions, of your behaviors all the time. However, you cannot control your heart, you cannot control your desires, your temptations, your impulses. You don't have control over them. Only the tzaddik can control them, because he can control his animal soul and defeat it and eliminate it. That, not everyone is capable of. That is not even something any human can achieve on their own. That is a gift from God. You could be working very hard to achieve self-mastery, but you may never accomplish on your own the complete elimination of your animal soul. That requires a level of ahava b'tanugim, a love of desire, of delight of God that can overwhelm you completely, and that's a gift from God. Some people, few people, God gives that gift to. Most people, God does not give that gift to, and therefore it's not expected of you. By the way, now we can answer another question that we raised in the first chapter. Now, after 14 chapters, Job turned to God and he said, God, you have created tzaddikim, people who are going to be righteous. You've created people who are risha'im, people who are going to be sinners. So, what do you expect of us? Some can, some can't be. And we ask the question, that's not true. God doesn't create anybody who's destined, guaranteed to be righteous and holy or unholy. God does decide for you whether you're going to be tall or short, clever, not so clever, blue eyes, brown eyes. God decides the various factors of your persona, but the decision-making of choosing right over wrong is always in your hands. God doesn't decide for you. No one can say, this person was born to be righteous and I'm not. No one's born to be righteous. Everyone's born with the power of free choice. You have to make decisions on your own. But the explanation of what Eve was saying was, you, God, created certain people that you give them the gift to be able to be a tzaddik. And then he created others who you don't give them that gift, and they're never able to be a tzaddik, and they're going to live a lifetime of struggle, because their animal soul will always be alive and well within them. And every moment is going to be a powerful struggle of decision-making, of choosing right over wrong. That's a true point. Some people God gave that gift to. Most, God did not. But even if he did not, and even if there's a big battle going on inside of you, you can't always control yourself. Never say to yourself, but I can't stop myself. You can always stop yourself by diverting your attention, by choosing to ignore it, by not feeding and paying attention to it, and by also recognizing what's at stake. What's at stake in terms of your health, your physical health, and your spiritual health. And because you love yourself and you want to be healthy all the time, with that small meditation, you're always capable of choosing right over wrong. God bless you. Have an amazing day.